Hey guys, and welcome back for another HIIT yoga. For today's session, you're not going to need anything at all, just some space on the floor, a mat if you have one, and whenever you're ready, come and join me in Tadasana and we'll begin our warm-up. Or on your mat, and we'll just begin in Tadasana. So standing in Tadasana, we're just going to roll the shoulders back and down, maybe 5 times backwards, and then 5 times forwards. From here, you're just going to come back to neutral. Inhale as you lift the right arm up. Exhale as you reach all the way over to the left. Inhale back to center, switching over the arms. Exhale, reach over to the right. We're just going to do 5 each side, lifting and lengthening, finding that stretch in the side body, just gently easing into the rib cage, into the lats. I think there's one more each side, I've lost count. And then come back to center, take the arms out wide, T-shape, and then wrap them around your body as you twist to look behind. Again, 5 or 6 rotations. You'll probably hear a few clicks and cracks in the spine as you do this, and that's perfectly normal. It's absolutely fine. One more each side. And then come all the way back to center. Inhale as you extend the hands up above the head, bend at the knees, hinge at the hips, come all the way down into your Uttanasana ragdoll. So drawing the chest over the thighs, crown of the head towards the floor, and just take opposite hand to opposite elbow. So you gently swing from side to side. Taking a few deep breaths, getting into those glutes, the hamstrings, the hips, and of course the lower back as well. And then when you're ready, just take the hands to the floor, step back to your down facing dog position. Pedal out the feet, open up those calves, those hips, those hamstrings. And then pulse through the shoulders a few times just to open up the chest and the thoracic spine. And then when you're ready, we'll take a body flow. So inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, look up, find cobra. And then exhale as you press back to down facing dog. From here, you're going to take right foot outside of right hand into a high lizard lunge. Inhale to lift and twist. Exhale, elbow to the floor. Option to drop the knee if you want to. We're going to do 3 elbow taps on the right side. Replace the hand and then step back to down facing dog after that 3rd elbow tap. And then we'll do the same on the left. So left foot outside of left hand. High or low lunge, whichever you prefer. Inhale to lift and twist. Exhale, elbow to the floor. 3 taps. Replace the hand, step back to your down facing dog. From here, you're going to walk the hands all the way in towards the feet. Find your Uttanasana at the back of the mat. And then heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. Find your squat stance. Inhale as you come all the way up, extended Tadasana, palms together at the top. And as you exhale, come down into your garland pose. Keep that torso nice and lifted. Just take a few bounces in the bottom of that squat, opening up the hips, easing into the groin. And then left hand comes to the mat. Inhale to lift and twist towards the right. Exhale, right hand comes to the mat. Inhale to lift and twist towards the left. Exhale, replace the hands to the floor. Heel toe the feet back underneath the hips. Find your Uttanasana again, and then walk the hands all the way to the front of the mat. Find your plank position and we'll take a vinyasa. So exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Option to use the knees, of course. Inhale, come up to cobra or sphinx, and then exhale as you press back to down facing dog. Walk the feet all the way in towards the hands, coming into your Uttanasana forward fold at the front of the mat. Bend at the knees, take that ragdoll position again, so opposite hands to opposite elbow. Couple of deep breaths. And then whenever you're ready, inhale as you come all the way up, extended Tadasana, exhale, release the arms, shake it all out. And right on cue, my speaker's timed itself out, so I'll turn that back on. So the first round is your mobility round. I'll demonstrate the first movement so that to just give you a bit of information before we start the class. If you haven't done this class before, there's 3 rounds. We've got mobility, strength, and cardio. Each round has 5 movements. You'll be working for 45 seconds, resting for 25 seconds in between each movement whilst I demonstrate the next. And in between each round, you'll also get a minute's rest. So just take it at your own pace. Do as many reps as you want. I'll give you lots of options for different scales or progressions. And then whenever you're ready, we'll begin. So we're going to start the first movement on our fronts in a prone position, and we're going to come into those prone cactus arms. So coming all the way to the floor, and just watch for a moment, and then I'll press the timer in a minute. We're going to lift the hands up off the floor, forehead to the floor, hands are hovering, and you're just simply going to cactus the arms out to the side at a 90-degree angle with the elbow, and then push the arms up above. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then pushing the arms out straight in front of you, keeping them hovered at all times. Obviously, the more reps you do, the more you're going to work. But for this, really focus on that squeeze and see if you can hold each position for a count of 2. So I'm going to start the timer. You're going to have 10 seconds. So set yourself up in that prone position. And then whenever you're ready, in 3, 2, 1, lift the hands off the floor. Exhale as you cactus those arms back to the sides. And then reach forwards as you inhale. So you should begin to feel this down the center of your back, working those shoulder blades in your scapula, in your shoulders, obviously, and either side of your spine. You're over halfway. You're doing really well. You should probably be able to feel this burning now. The simple movements are usually the most evil. And you have 10 seconds on the clock. And then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. So from here, press up into your down facing dog, and we're going to go into that body wave. So you're going to find down facing dog. Inhale to roll forwards, drop the hips and look up. Come into cobra. If cobra is too much for you, always come to Sphinx if you want to. With cobra and both of them, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the inner thighs, point the toes, support that lower back. So set yourself up, find that down facing dog. And when you're ready, inhale, roll forwards, drop the hips, look up, find cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, press back to down facing dog. And if you want to spend a moment in either position, this is your mobility phase. So you can maybe just take a few moments to pedal out the feet if you're particularly stiff in your hamstrings, or pulse through the shoulders, or just rock from side to side in that cobra. You're over halfway. You have 15 seconds left on the clock. So just keep moving and breathing.
10 seconds.
Nice. And in 5, 4,
Rest.
the next one, we're progressing on from that bear to bridge option. So bear to bridge in previous weeks, we've come from this hover position, flipped over, thrusted the hips up high. Today we're going to do down facing dog to wild thing. So you're coming into down facing dog, swing one leg high into the sky, 3-leg dog, take it all the way over, and then open up into wild thing. Option to come into that hip tap first and then lift and stretch.
Let's go.
So just find it, take it from side to side, moving, and if you're doing that hip thrust, come down first and then stretch over into that wild thing. You're coming up to halfway. Really focus on the positions of these, really focus on opening up the body,
Halfway there.
opening up the heart and the chest. This is a heart opening pose. And find that stretch in down facing dog. It's quite nice on the hips. You have just coming up to 10 seconds left on the
10
clock.
seconds.
And then we are on to the next movement. And rest. So from here, we're going to come back to that down facing dog position, and we're going to come into a lizard pounce. So you're going to step your foot to where your hand is, but lift your hand up at the same time, pull it back, replace, and step back to down facing dog. So you're literally stepping foot to hand in that lizard pounce position.
Let's go.
Nice work. So this one, if you want to spend a bit of time in that lizard position, you can open up the chest, open up the groin, the hips. If you want to make it faster and get more of a sweat on, then obviously do more reps because this one's quite cardio intensive. You could almost switch this out for mountain climbers if you wanted to upgrade your mountain climbers in future. You're over halfway. You have 15 seconds left on the clock. And then we have one last movement.
10 seconds.
Really good, guys. Keep moving all the way to the end. And in 5, 4, 3. The next movement, we're coming up to a standing position in a wide leg stance. We're simply going to drop over into ninja squat or a Cossack squat and try and find ourselves in that nice low lunging position, or side lunge if you like. See if you can keep the heel on the floor, but try and keep the chest lifted. So we're working into the mobility range. You're just moving from side to side. If your ankles are dodgy like mine, you'll probably struggle with the heel to the floor. So find and work into that movement. If you want to make it harder, instead of coming all the way up, see if you can squat all the way from side to side, keeping low to the floor. Just try and keep that chest nice and lifted rather than heel to the floor to make it harder.
Halfway there.
So you're over halfway. You're all doing really, really well. You all have better ankles than I do. I need to work on my ankle mobility so hard. It's that running. You have 5 seconds left on the clock, and in 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Grab yourself some water. That's the end of round 1. So you've done your mobility bit. Those Cossack squats are pretty nasty. They probably started to burn as well. And then the next round is your strengthening round. So I'll demonstrate the first movement. We have 40 seconds left on the clock. So just take a moment to watch the screen. The first movement is a dolphin plank to press. So you're going to come from your dolphin pose, which is this forearm down facing dog position, and you're going to press up into a plank. So squeeze the core, keep those hips low. You can do this alternating, one arm at a time. You can go up one arm at a time and then come back down. Or if you want to keep it simple, you can just do plank walks on your with your knees lifted or not. So set yourself up, find that dolphin pose position, send the hips high to the sky, and then press up into that plank. Really press the ground away, squeeze that core. You're using a lot of your front core to do this movement. So just keep moving and breathing. You're exhaling to go back through to that dolphin position, and then inhaling as you press up to plank. This is hard on the shoulders, so take it easy. Take it slow. If you want to make it harder, you could always add a tempo, so really make that lowering down a little bit slower. See if you can control it. You have 5 seconds left on the clock. And then we are into a prone position on the mat. So we're back to those bow progressions. So option 1, locust lifts. Option 2, half bow. Option 3, full bow. So if you want to make this hard, so start with just single lifts, inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. If you want to make it harder, lift and hold, or hold for the entire thing and add a rock if you want to. So set yourself up, pick your progression. If you're doing those half bows, make sure you alternate on each leg. If you're doing that full bow, try and keep those knees from flaring out, send the feet back, lift all the way up, and then hold, exhale to lower, inhale to lift. And if you want to hold it for the whole thing, see if you can really kick back into your hands. You're over halfway.
Halfway there.
This is quite a strong back bend. You're doing so, so well. Again, if you want to make it hard in the locust pose, you can just lift and add a rock. So you're doing this hollow arc rock. You have 5 seconds left on the clock. And in 3, 2, 1. We're going to come up into this down facing dog position, and we're going to draw squares with our knees. So you're going to inhale to lift one leg up, bring it through as you exhale. Knee to elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, back up to the elbow. send it back, and then switch to the other side. So elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, back up to the elbow, step back. You're drawing a square with that knee. Set yourself up in that down facing dog.
Let's go.
And then when you're ready, inhale to lift the leg up and back. Exhale as you bring it through. Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow, step back. And then repeat on the other side. So lift, elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, elbow, and step back. Just keep moving steadily through.
Halfway there.
This is quite hard. If you find it's getting super hard, then feel free to just do bringing the knee through into that tiger curl as another option.
10 seconds.
You're over halfway. You've got 10 seconds left on the clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rest.
The final one we're going to do is a single leg squat. Or sorry, the fourth one we're going to do is a single leg squat. So you're going to try taking that leg back behind you and bringing that knee to the floor and then switching sides. So if you can, keep that leg lifted as long as you can, tap the knee to the floor. So this is just a pistol progression. Obviously, if this is too much, you can do just those chair pulses either side, whichever you prefer. So you've got those single leg squats, which require a bit of balance as well. You can use a table or a chair to hold on to. See if you can take that knee all the way back. You could even hold the foot if you wanted to and lower yourself down, although I can't do that very well. It's quite a hard one, this one.
Halfway there.
You're over halfway. Nice work. You're all going for the single leg squats. These are brilliant.
10 seconds.
Really good. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The next movement is push up to down facing dog. So you're going to find that plank position, press to the floor, press up, and then push back. Option 2 is to take the knees to the floor, add the push up, and press back. Or option 3, you can come all the way to the floor, release the hands, and then you can press back using the knees on the floor and then press back up. So use the knees as and where you need them. We're all adding in that press with the arms and then keeping that core tight as you press up and push back, squeezing those hips, those glutes, and the front body as well to help support those hips and stop them from sagging in that plank position. Nice.
Halfway there.
Really good. You're over halfway. You have 15 seconds left on the clock, and then you have a whole minute's worth of rest. So just keep working steadily to the end.
10 seconds.
Keep going. You've got this. Nice work, girls. You're doing so well. And rest.
Yeah.
Grab some water. And then we will be back for round 3. So this is your cardio round coming up. And I will demonstrate the first movement. So the first movement we are going to do today is down facing dog to chair jump. So option to step this as well if you want to. You're going to find your down facing dog position, bend at the knees, look forwards, jump, catch in chair, and then jump back to down facing dog. See if you can find some float as you come forwards to catch in that chair and then catch in down facing dog again. If you want to, you can step, find chair, step, down facing dog. Just rotate that leading foot that you step with. So set yourself up in that down facing dog. You have 10 seconds left on the clock. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you're going to bend at the knees, look forward, see if you can find that float if you're hopping, catch in chair, and then jump, push back to down facing dog. Hop, catch in chair, and really think about sitting back into those heels, keeping that tailbone tucked under, so squeeze that core, draw those ribs down, pull those shoulders back and down in that chair pose. You're all looking really good. And if you need to step in, step out, that's absolutely fine. The jump does make it quite hard work.
10 seconds.
See if you can find more lift if you're finding that jump easier. See if you can find a bit more float time. You have 3, 2, 1, and rest. The next one, we're going to come back to that down facing dog, set ourselves up in a lunge position, knee to the floor, and then you're going to shoot to warrior 3, step back, and then repeat, find that lunge, shoot, step back, and repeat. So see if you can keep your balance, sorry I missed that one, as you shoot up, stepping back to down facing dog. So down facing dog, step through with one foot between the hands, find your lunge first, and then shoot, hold, step back, down facing dog, other foot that comes through, find your low lunge, shoot, hold, step back. Try and keep control as you do this. You can do high or low lunge. It's yogi's choice. Just make sure you brace yourself at the bottom of that lunge so that you lift into a nice strong warrior 3.
10 seconds.
You have 10 seconds left on the clock. And in 5, 4, 3, 2,
Rest.
1, rest. So the next one is a firefly, alternating firefly. So finding down facing dog, taking that knee to elbow, knee to elbow. So the knee's coming around the outside. If this is too much, then feel free just to come to regular mountain climbers or that tiger curl. If you want to make it harder, bring that knee up higher. See if you can tap the bicep as you do this. Nice work, girls. Really good. Obviously, the more reps you do, the more you're going to burn. But also, the higher you get that leg, the harder it's going to be as well to get those extra reps in.
Halfway there.
And you'll burn just as much. So pick your challenge. You have 15 seconds left on the clock. We have 2 more movements remaining.
10 seconds.
So give it your all. You're nearly there now. You're on the home straight. And in 5, 3, 2, 1. We're going back to those pistol roll progressions. So option to come to a seated pistol and just lift from the floor, alternating the legs. If you want to make it more fun and add in the roll, see if you can catch, or maybe even push all the way up, come back down and repeat. Switching legs each time. So you've got the simple lifts. Whoop. You've got the simple seated lifts, pressing that foot in, and feel free to use your hands if you need to. You have the lift and roll where you catch, or you have the full standing progression. The roll will make it more cardio based because you're obviously engaging the whole body as you do that. It also helps you. So really focus on sending your nose over your toes. Really lean forwards with that body weight. Shoot everything forwards. Really good. And really press into the ground with that base foot. So keep all of the foot connected to the floor. You have 5 seconds left to go. And in 3, 2, 1. We're finally back to that single leg chaturanga that we've all been working towards. So you're finding that down facing dog position, lifting one leg high to the sky, and then scooping the chest through without putting that foot down, finding your up dog then, and you can put the foot down then, flip the toes, press back to down facing dog. Of course, you can always do a regular chaturanga if you want to, or just come through high plank, knees, vinyasa style. So just find the progression that suits you. You can replace that up dog for a cobra or sphinx. You can drop your knees at any point. Just pick the progression that allows you to work without hurting yourself, but pushes you at the same time. So with that single leg, it's all about keeping that core. So really think about finding that tension from finger to toe, and then scoop the body through, flip the toes, keep it hovered if you can, and then tuck back
10 seconds.
and press back to that down facing dog. You have 5 seconds left, so just see if you can do one more for me. And rest.
Well done.
If you need to grab a drink, then feel free to grab a drink. If not, come back to the back of your mats and just sit back in extended child's pose and catch your breath. when you found your extended child's pose, just take 3 deep breaths, focusing on that inhale and exhale, feeling that expansion across the upper back as you inhale, and then as you exhale, just try and let everything calm down, relax down into the mat. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then inhale as you come up onto your hands and knees. We're going to step right foot outside of right hand. We're going to pull back in the hip as we reach forwards with the heart, and you should feel a stretch there in your hip and down your hamstring. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. 2 more deep breaths. From here, you're just going to come forward slightly, reach back with opposite hand to opposite foot, bring that heel in towards the glute, pulse a few times, and then hold for 3, 2, 1, release, and then switch sides. So we're going to bring left foot through now, outside of the left hand, in that kind of staggered short lunge position. Reach forwards with the heart, send the hip back, find that stretch. Hold for 3 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then reaching back, left hand to right foot, bringing that heel in towards the glute, pulsing it a few times, and then holding for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. We're going to come through into a seated position now on our mats, taking the legs straight out in front of you, flexing the toes back towards you. Inhale as you lift and lengthen. Exhale as you fold forwards, reaching nose towards toes, chest towards thighs, finding that long neutral spine at the base of your back. And take 5 deep breaths. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. Fold deeper, and then inhale as you come all the way up. Slide the bum down towards the heels, come onto your back. Walk your toes in towards your glutes and keep your heels lifted. Taking the hands out in a T-shaped position, palms facing down, glue those shoulders to the floor. And then just drop the knees from side to side for a few window wipers to finish. Releasing off the lower back. One more each side. And then just gently bring the knees in towards the chest, massage the lower back. And then whenever you're ready, roll over onto the right side of your body and gently come all the way up to seated. And we'll finish with one final deep inhale as we lift the hands up above the head, palms together at the top. And as we exhale to the forehead, kind thoughts. To the lips, kind words. To the heart, kind feelings. Namaste.